Okay, so good morning, everyone. And today we're going to start with, again, like I stated, revision. Okay, we're going to start first with the review for pages in our grammar workbook. Okay, please be reminded that tomorrow, inshallah, we have our quiz for chapter 7 grammar. Okay, it's going to be an online quiz because remember tomorrow is Tuesday, so it's our online day to meet online normally. Okay, so we're gonna start today by again. Remember tomorrow we have before we get into this. Let me explain that we have two sessions tomorrow. One session is going to be dedicated for the quiz. You guys will take that on our Microsoft Forms page. After you submit the quiz, we're going to meet for the second session, which is going to be for our novel study because Wednesday is off, okay, and we are a little behind with our novel study. So tomorrow, inshallah, we're going to finish discussing chapter 10 as we didn't finish discussing it in class. Okay, so everyone, please have your workbooks open to page 111. This is the workbook page here that I'm sharing with you. I'm going to answer it. We're going to answer it together as a way of review. Okay, so let's do that now. Okay, the first part is made up of 5 questions, and as you can see here, the let's read the instructions together. Here you're going to identify each sentence by writing whether it is S for a simple sentence, or we're going to put the abbreviation CD for a compound sentence. Just quickly, as a reminder, remember that a simple sentence is made up of only one independent clause. Okay, one independent clause that could be you can have one subject, you can have a compound subject and one verb. Okay, you can have a compound verb and a compound subject. All right, it doesn't matter as long as it's one independent clause, it is a simple sentence. Okay, and let's also be reminded that a compound sentence is two independent clauses or more. Okay, again, in the simple sentence and the compound sentence, we don't see any subordinate clauses. Okay, all my clauses are independent. Okay, the subordinate clause shows up starting the complex. Okay, so for your compound sentence, you have two independent clauses or more. And let's remember that when we join them, we're joining them with our fanboys, okay? And a fanboys or the fanboys is an acronym for my coordinating conjunctions, which are for, and, nor, so, but, or, yet. Okay, so all these are my fanboys. Okay, these are my fanboys. And whenever I use them to combine sentences or to join two or more independent clauses, I must insert a comma before them. Okay, now there's also another way that you can see in order to join independent clauses in a compound sentence. We can join independent clauses in a compound sentence by substituting my comma and my coordinating conjunction or my fanboys with a semicolon. Okay, so please be reminded that this is still a compound sentence. Okay, so your workbooks, please have them available in front of you. I need you guys to answer in your workbooks with me. Okay, as a way of practicing. So, Ruqayya, you are volunteering to answer number one. Please go ahead, Ruqayya. Okay, read number one for us, please, and tell us whether it is a simple sentence or a compound sentence. Go ahead.
Around teeth never stop growing. Simple sentence.
Great. Okay, as we all could see here, number one is definitely a simple sentence. Okay, so here I'm going to insert, okay, I'm going to use here to insert that it is a simple sentence. Okay, so this is a simple sentence. Everyone should know. And when you're writing, you can just automatically say that it's an S for simple. Okay, as the instructions tell us. And you're going to type it on this line provided here. Let me see if I could do it. All right, I'm going to insert it here on the side. Okay, thanks, Ruqayya. Number two, volunteers for number two. Ward, go ahead, please read it for us.
Rodents gnaw hard things so their teeth don't get very long. It's a compound sentence.
Great. Okay, this is definitely a compound sentence, so we're going to put CD. Okay, and Ward, can you please identify my two independent clauses for me?
The first independent clause is rodents gnaw hard things, and the second one is their teeth don't get very long.
Great. Okay, as Word stated here, we can see that we have two independent clauses. Okay, each independent clause should have a subject and a verb on their own. Okay, and here my two independent clauses, Word, what are they joined by? Can you tell me what are they joined by?
They're joined by a conjunction, which is so.
Good. It's one of our fanboys, like where it's stated, and it is the comma so. Okay, remember how I told you? Whenever you join two independent clauses, we need to join them either by a semicolon or we need to insert a comma with a coordinating conjunction. Okay, great job, Word. Number three, let's hear from Muhammad, please.
Simple.
All right, good. The capybara is the largest rodent of all. All right, which is definitely a simple sentence. Great. Okay, we only here see we don't have two independent clauses, it's just one independent clause and it's a simple sentence. Thank you, Muhammad. Number four. Okay, Mark, do you have your workbook, please? Can you answer number four? Mark? How about Adam? Adam Al Fahla, are you available? Can you please answer number four? Hassan, are you available? Can you please answer number four?
Yes.
Thank you, Hassan.
Cannibal 2 4 feet and weigh 100 pounds.
Great.
This is a one second. This is CD.
Okay, why would you think that this is a compound sentence? Is the word and? Because you saw the word and you think that you might have two independent clauses. Let's read the sentence again. Remember, one thing that we need to understand whenever we use a conjunction, Hassan, to join two independent clauses, we need to insert a comma like we saw in number two. The word and here, Hassan, does not join sentences. Here we see the word and is joining two verbs, okay? The capybaras can grow. This is my first verb, okay? This is my first verb, okay? What else can they do? And weigh. Okay, so here I have two verbs. So the word and or my conjunction and here, is it joining two independent clauses or is it just only joining two verbs?
It's joining two verbs.
That's right. So here you have, okay, you have a compound verb and you have one subject. So here, do we have one simple sentence? Do I have one independent clause, or do you see that we have more than one independent clause?
We have one independent clause.
Good. So it's one simple sentence. Okay. So be careful on the quiz tomorrow when you are viewing your conjunction. Okay. Always look both sides. You know, when you cross the street, you look both ways. Look this way. Okay. And ask yourself, can this be an independent clause on its own? Can weigh 100 pounds? Can it be an independent clause on its own? No, because it's lacking a subject. It starts with the verb. So here, obviously, it's here we could see that the and here or my conjunction is only joining two verbs. Okay, so Hassan, can you tell me the answer again now that you've reviewed your answer?
It's S.
Good. It's going to be a simple sentence. Good. All right, because it's one independent clause, and everyone should be just very careful when we look at the conjunctions. Thanks, ya Hassan. Okay, Adam, are you ready, honey? Adam Al Fahla, can you please answer number five?
Yes, yes.
Sure. Thank you.
Mm.
Let's read it for us, Adam, please.
In prehistoric times, capybaras lived in North America, but now they are found only in Panama and South America.
Great, good. Okay. So what do we have here, Adam? Do we have a simple sentence or do we have a compound sentence?
One sec.
Sure.
It is simple.
let's revise the sentence together. In prehistoric times, capybaras lived in North America,
No,
but
compound.
oh,
Compound.
it's compound. Thank you. Great. Okay. All right. So tell me, Adam, where do you see, do you have, how many independent clauses do we have in the sentence?
Mm,
We have two independent clauses, right?
two.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Can you give me the first independent clause?
Lived.
So in prehistoric times, capybaras lived in North America. Remember, this is my first sentence. Okay, this is my first independent clause. And remember, you need to include the prepositional phrase with it because it's part of the sentence. Okay, so here, this is your first independent clause. And what is your second independent clause? What is it? Now they are
Now
found
they
in
are found
Panama and South
on the
America. Good. This is your second independent clause. And what is joining my two independent clauses, Adam? The comma,
command, but
comma, and but. And this is my conjunction. Okay. So here, again, like Hassan did, we're going to look on both sides. Okay. You have one independent clause here, the second independent clause joined by the comma and my conjunction. Okay, notice that when you're joining two independent clauses, you need a comma. But when you're joining merely just verbs, you do not insert a comma. Okay, this could be a hint for you tomorrow. Okay, now the next one is very similar to something that you're gonna have your on your quiz tomorrow, which is that you're going to identify the independent clause, and you're going to identify the subordinate clause. For the independent clause, I'm going to highlight it here for the sake of because I'm answering online. I'm going to highlight the independent clause in yellow, and I'm going to highlight the subordinate clause in let's say another color, and it's going to be like a lime green. Okay, and then you're going to identify each sentence by writing whether that it's a simple or if it's compound complex or a compound complex. Okay, so now we're going to include all four sentence structures. Okay, remember a complex sentence means that you only have one independent clause and you can have more than one subordinate. Okay, remember also that my subordinate conjunctions could start, or my subordinate clauses, they start with a subordinate conjunction or a relative pronoun. Okay, a compound complex sentence means that you have a compound sentence. That means two or more independent clauses joined by fanboys or semicolon, but you also have a subordinate clause included. Okay, so this one is the most intense type. Okay, because you have a lot of sentences in it. Okay, so again, complex sentence, one independent clause, and more than one. It could be one or more than one subordinate clause. Remember, your subordinate clauses start with your subordinate conjunctions or your relative pronouns. Let's keep that in mind. Okay, so let's look at number six. How about Ibrahim? Are you ready to answer number six, please? Okay, Kareem, you're volunteering. Thank you. Go ahead, hun.
Yes. It's complex.
David, can you read it for us, please, Kareem?
Um, David Atkinson may have been the president of the United States for one day.
Great. So here you have a choice between simple, compound, complex, or compound complex. First of all, do you have any subordinate conjunctions here, Kareem?
Uh, no,
No. Okay. Do we see any? Do we have any fanboys joining any independent clauses?
no, it's a simple sentence.
Good. So this whole thing, guys, I'm going to have to highlight the whole sentence, or we're gonna underline it once. If you're answering in your workbook, you're gonna underline this entire sentence just once. Okay. Why? Because again, this whole sentence is considered one big independent clause. Okay. So it's one independent clause, and that's it. Again, like Kareem has mentioned, this is a simple sentence, and that is very true. Okay, it is a simple sentence. Okay, let's do number seven. Okay, Ward, please go ahead.
President Polk's term had ended on March 4th, 1849, which was a Sunday. It's going to be a complex sentence.
Good. Okay, so now here, what we're going to have to first underline the independent clause once and the subordinate clause twice. So can you identify for me the independent clause?
President Polk's term had ended on March 4th, 1849.
Good. This is my independent clause. This is the sentence that could stand on its own. Okay, where's my subordinate clause? Word,
Uh, which was a Sunday.
which was a Sunday. Bravo. Okay, now this here, I'm going to we agreed that we're gonna do the subordinate clauses in the lime green. And what is the sentence structure again? Word?
Complex sentence.
Complex, which is the abbreviation for CX. Okay, good. And what here, can you please tell me your subordinate clause? It starts with the word which, correct? What is which? Is which a subordinate conjunction or a relative pronoun?
Relative pronoun.
Thank you, Awad. Perfect. Okay, thanks. All right, Zena, please, can you answer number 8 for us?
Okay. Because it was a Sunday. Oops, wait. Because it was a Sunday, the new president, Zachary Taylor, did not take the oath of office until March 5. Uh, because it was a Sunday,
Good.
is an independent. Subordinate clause.
Good. This is your subordinate clause. Perfect. What is your independent clause?
The new president, Zachary Taylor. The rest of the sentence is the independent clause.
Perfect. The rest of the sentence is independent. So you have one subordinate clause, okay, that starts with the word because. Now, Zena, can you tell us what is the word because? Is it a relative pronoun or is it a subordinate conjunction?
It's a subordinate conjunction.
Perfect. So what kind of sentence structure do we have here, Zena?
Complex.
Great. We have a complex sentence. Great. Okay. Just like the previous sentence. Again, we have one subordinate clause and one independent clause that makes it an independent, a complex sentence. Thanks, Zena. All right. Let's go with number 9. Okay. Muhammad, please go ahead.
Yes. Under an old law, the president pro tempore of the Senate became
Senate.
the president of the United States if no one else held the office. It's a simple sentence.
I need you to revise your sentence again. Okay. Check if you have any complex sentence. I mean, any subordinate clauses. Adam Wasil, can you help Muhammad Walid and identify this sentence? Adam Wasil?
This under the old law.
Remember, under an old law is a prepositional phrase. And we said phrases are not clauses. Remember, phrases do not have subjects or verbs. Okay, your clauses,
Yes.
on the other hand, they do. Okay, so under an old law is part of your sentence. Okay, which is what under an old law, the president pro tempore of the Senate became the president of the United States. Now, this is my independent clause.
If no one else is supporting.
If no one else held the office, this is my subordinate clause. Okay? It starts with the word if. And if, Muhammad, is what? Is it a relative pronoun or is it a subordinate conjunction?
It's a subordinate conjunction.
It's a subordinate
I
conjunction.
mean,
So, yes, that's correct. It is a subordinate conjunction. So, what kind of sentence structure do you have here, Muhammad? Is it a simple sentence?
it's a complex.
It's complex. Great. Okay, good. Okay, so before we make a decision, guys, remember to analyze your sentence and look at it well before you decide. Okay, number 10, Adam Wilson, please.
Yes.
Please answer number 10, honey.
Today, if the president and vice president cannot do their jobs, the Speaker of the House takes over. It's a compound.
Compound means that you have two independent clauses joined by fanboys or a semicolon. Is that true for sentence number 10? Do we have two independent clauses joined by our conjunction and, or, but, yet, so, or?
No.
No. Okay, so let's revise the sentence again. Let's look at number 9 and look at the subordinate the subordinate conjunction that was used in number 9 is the word if. Do we see it used again in number 10?
Yes.
Okay, so where's my subordinate conjunction? If, right?
If
We have if here. So where's my subordinate clause? Can you give me the subordinate clause?
if the president and vice president cannot do their jobs.
Good. And don't forget to include today, which is your adverb. Okay, it's part of the sentence. Okay, so today, if the president and vice president cannot do their jobs. And what did I tell you guys about sentences? Remember how I told you we can flip them? Usually, a sentence, when it starts with a subordinate clause that has a subordinate conjunction, we need to put a comma after it, right? If we look here, how come we didn't insert a comma right here? We don't have to. Okay, because what happened here is that we see that our subordinate conjunction or the sentence or our subordinate clause that starts with a subordinate conjunction came at the end of the sentence. So when it comes at the end of the sentence, we do not need to insert a comma. However, if it comes in the beginning, like in number 10, we need to insert this comma as you guys see here. Okay, this is why we have this comma. Okay, so again, today, if the president and vice president cannot do their job, this is my subordinate clause. Okay, where's your independent clause, Adam?
The independent clause is the Speaker of the House takes over.
Good, so this is my independent clause. Perfect. So, what kind of sentence structure do we have here in number 10?
Complex sentence.
Good. Great. Okay, so this is a complex sentence. All right, let's not rush into identifying the sentence before we read it thoroughly. Okay, number 11. Okay, number 11, let's hear from Rahma.
Yes, miss.
Thank you, honey. Can you please answer number 11?
Here's another interesting fact. This is it will be subordinate conjunction.
Do we have a subordinate conjunction? Here is another interesting fact. Fact is the question. Fact is your subject. Is the verb. Okay, remember how I told you sentences that start with here or there, the subject comes at the end? Okay, so when I say here is another interesting fact, do we have any subordinate conjunctions here, ya Rahma?
No,
No, right? We have a subject and we have a verb. It seems to me that we have how many? Do we have any subordinate clauses in the sentence or no?
no, we don't have it.
Good. So we have how many independent clauses do we have then?
One.
Just one. Perfect. Okay, so this whole sentence is just one independent clause. Okay, so if it's just one independent clause, Rahma, what do we have? What is the sentence structure called?
It will be simple sentence.
Good job, Rahma. It's a simple sentence. Bravo. Okay, so that you're going to underline this entire sentence once because it is one independent clause. Okay, good. It's a simple sentence. Thanks, Rahma. Okay, number 12. Let's hear from Hannah. Hannah, are you available to please answer number 12? Hannah? How about Tala? Okay, Noura, can you please answer number 12? Yusuf Dahroub, please, number 12.
Yes, Miss.
Thank you, honey. Can you please answer number 12?
Technically, George Washington was not the first president of the U.S. government.
Perfect.
Miss, what does it want me to do?
I need you to first tell me if you have any subordinate clauses or any subordinate conjunctions, and then you're going to tell us which is the independent clause, which is the subordinate clause, if any, and then you're going to identify your sentence, whether if it's simple, compound, complex, or compound complex.
Simple.
Good. All right. So do you have any subordinate clauses? No. All right.
No.
There's no subordinate clause. So this entire sentence, like Yusuf said, is a simple sentence. That means the entire sentence is one independent clause, and it is a simple sentence. Thanks, Yusuf. Okay. Thank you, Yusuf, for answering. Okay. What the number 13, please?
That honor belonged to a man who had been Maryland's representative to the Continental Congress.
Great.
It's a complex sentence.
It's a complex sentence. Highlight the independent clause for us. Underline it. We're going to underline it once.
That honor belonged to a man.
That honor belonged to a man. Perfect. This is my independent clause. What about my subordinate clause? What?
Who had been Maryland's representative to the Continental Congress.
Great. This is my subordinate clause, and it starts with who. And what is who? What?
A relative pronoun.
Good job. And agreed here that this is a complex sentence. Perfect. Perfect. Thanks, Yawart. Okay. And 14. Ibrahim, are you available to answer number 14? Ibrahim? Okay, let's hear from Mark. Mark? All right, go ahead, Ruqayya, please.
It will be compound complex.
Okay, so here, Ruqayya, if you're saying that it's a compound complex. So here you're gonna identify first the independent clauses for me.
The independent, the first and only president of the Congress of the Confederation.
Okay, this is all the subject. The first and only president of the Confederation. Where's the verb?
Was John
John Hanson. Good. So this is my independent clause. Okay. What is interrupting my independent clause, Ruqayya? What comes in the middle to break off the subject and the verb? It comes which managed the first U.S. government. Good. Now this is independent or subordinate?
Subordinate.
Good. It's a subordinate conjunction, a clause. It starts with which, and what is which, Ruqayya?
Relative pronoun.
It's a relative pronoun. What is your second independent clause?
He was elected by the Congress in 1781.
Perfect, Ruqayya. Great. Okay, and we can see that my two independent clauses here are joined by the comma and, which is my fanboys, if you guys remember, the fanboys. So this is definitely, like Ruqayya said, a compound complex, a CD. Okay, we're gonna put CD, CX. Okay, that is correct for that. Okay, great, Ruqayya. And 15, let's hear from Hassan. Number 15, please, Hassan.
Yes. Hanson title President of the United States in Congress assembled and he served for 1 year. This is compound CD.
Okay, good. Okay, Hanson's title was President of the United States in Congress assembled, and he served for 1 year. So here, can you tell me my two independent clauses, Hassan? Where's my first independent clause?
The first Hanson title was President of the United States in Congress assembled.
Good.
The second one is and he served for 1 year.
Okay, good. The second one is he served for 1 year, and we can tell here that it's joined by the comma The comma
and
good, which is my fanboys. Good. So this is a compound sentence. Great. Any questions about our sentence structures? Okay. Everyone understands them well? Okay, good. All right. So now that we are finished with this page, we have another page that we were scheduled to work on for today. I don't think the time is going to permit for us to finish it. All right. So this is again page 111 review, as we did this in class today. Okay. Grammar, page grammar workbook review A. Okay, so this is the answer key. I'm going to post it on SMS just in case and no one you didn't get a chance to finish it with me. Okay, you'll have the answer key. Now we're going to look at review, the second review, which is review B that I want to work on. Okay, and the review B here again, it's the same thing. Okay, now let's take a few minutes and answer those quickly. If we don't finish it, the rest is going to be scheduled for homework. And don't forget that I'm going to post also the chapter 7 review for you guys on SMS to check your answers. Okay, to check your chapter 7 review from the textbook. Okay, it's very important that you guys answer it because it's extra practice, and the more you practice, the better you become at it. Okay, so let's look at sentence number 1. All right, let's look at Kareem, please. Number 1, when we have plumbing problems, we call Senor Rodriguez. And again, this is between, you're choosing between whether it's a compound sentence or a complex sentence. Okay? All right, so let's see here. What do we have? When we have a plumbing problem, when we have plumbing problems, we call Senor Rodriguez. What do we have?
It's a complex
Complex
sentence.
sentence. Perfect. Okay, so it's going to be a complex sentence. Again, here, as Karim stated, all right, when we have plumbing problems, this is my subordinate clause.
Subordinate.
Good. All right. And also, we have an independent clause, which is we call Senor Rodriguez. All right. So here, this is my subordinate. This is my independent. And we see here that it starts with when. Okay, this makes it a subordinate clause because it starts with subordinate conjunction. Okay, thanks, Kareem. Number 2. Okay, number 2, let's hear from Ruqayya. Go ahead. Number 2, sometimes Senor Rodriguez comes himself, and sometimes he sends one of his employees. Ruqayya, what do we see?
Compound sentence.
Compound sentence. Perfect. Okay, this is a compound sentence because, again, we have 2 independent clauses. This is my first independent clause. Okay, my second independent clause is right here. All right, and again, it's joined by the comma and, which is my fanboys. All right, again, this is compound. Thanks, Ruqayya. Number 3. Okay, number 3, Rahma. Number 3, Elaine Blum, who lives across the street, is an electrician. Okay, Rahma, what would you say for this sentence? Is it compound or is it complex? Rahma, are you here?
Yes, miss.
Okay, so please tell me number 3. Elaine Blum, who lives across the street, is an electrician. Is this going to be a simple, a compound sentence or a compound complex sentence?
Complex, compound complex.
The choices is only compound and complex.
It will be complex.
Good. It is complex. Good. All right. And we could tell here that where's my independent clause? Again, it is interrupted. Okay. My subject is interrupted from the verb. Elaine Blum is an electrician. This is my independent clause. It's interrupted. That means the subject is separated from the verb by what is interrupting my sentence? My subordinate clause. It comes in the middle. Okay. And we could tell here that it starts with who, and who is a relative pronoun. That is this is my subordinate clause. So this is again a complex sentence. Good job, Rahma. Okay, good job. Number 4, let's hear from Zaina, please. Number 4.
Okay. She has a pickup truck which she uses to carry her tools and supplies. She has a pickup truck is an independent sentence, and which she uses to carry her tools and supplies is also an independent sentence.
Is it? Is it? It starts with which?
Is it an independent sentence?
Yeah.
Or
Which she
so
uses to carry her tools and supplies. It starts with which, and which
yeah,
is a subordinate. I mean, which is a relative pronoun.
yeah, I
So is it
know.
an independent or a subordinate clause?
Um it's subordinate because
Good.
it
It's
has
a
which.
good. It's a subordinate clause. It starts with which. So what is my sentence structure here? Yes, Zena.
CX or complex.
Good. It is complex. Perfect. Okay, this is going to be a complex sentence. Perfect. Okay, and number five. Let's go and hear from Hassan. We have less than 1 minute.